Okay, we started now.
We've started.
I just want to preface before we get into it is we might get distracted with a couple of interruptions. We are doing this at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday. The shop is open. You could probably hear the background noise of the cafe and the people walking past and all that kind of stuff. But this is the real raw kind of just getting after it, making it happen when we can make it happen. But for everyone that has listened to our podcast already, thank you so very fucking much.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Thank you very much. Jake and I are very grateful, super grateful. I can't sleep how grateful I am and how stressed I am.
That's English.
Yes. So today we kind of wanted to jump into this. We haven't actually we kind of had a brief discussion of what we're going to talk about this time around, but I think what would be appropriate, especially following from the build episode, the build of Civitas Terrigal, is going on about what is Civitas and where are we going. I think that'd be appropriate, right?
Yeah.
For everyone to kind of understand what we are, who we are as a brand, and not so much just being as pigeonholed as like a barber shop or just as a cafe or anything like that. I think so any words on that one?
Well, I guess that was the big thing before we even started, was actually building the brand rather than just being a shop.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the shop, it is what it is, but we don't really want to just have that impact on like a local community. We really want to have an impact on kind of a worldwide scale.
Yeah.
And to get there, you need to build brand, not just a shop. Because really, why is someone in LA going to care about a shop in Terrigal?
Exactly right.
Whereas if it's a brand, then it's obviously got a lot more reach and we can hit more things to capture more people, whether it be with clothing or with a creative side or with YouTube or with the actual person-to-person shop itself. Which is, it's kind of put us in this position now where we can, which is why we created Civitas instead of just being the private studio, which was very narrowed into, even though it was a brand, it still didn't really have as much reach. And it wasn't as scalable.
And valuable too, and purpose-driven. Like, we believe that everything that we want to do in life has to be a purpose-driven goal, because we believe that if we do not have that, we're not going to put 110% into it. We're not here to chase the money.
No.
You know, we're not here to be like, okay, we're going to create this brand to be multi-millionaires. Yes, some that hear me personally say that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, as I joke about, but that's stuff I'm thinking about when I'm 10, 20 years down the track. Where we're right now, building brand, building community, hence the name Civitas. If anyone hasn't seen the brand video already, going back to then, it breaks down what Civitas means. And if you even do a Google search, how it's perceived through what they use, like ancient Rome, it was a body of citizens with a sole purpose of, building community, building together so that a community can be sustained together and lift people up. And this is the way we've kind of taken that word Civitas, and that meaning is everyone that comes through and purchases a product or gets a service from us, they are all bounded by the core belief, the beliefs and values that we hold as a brand, and all want to contribute to that.
Which I think from the private studio, that was one thing that we were very open with from the get-go, was our values and what we wanted and where we were going. And a lot of the events that we did related to that. So we captured a lot of people who were in the same mindset, through doing men's chats and raising money for breast cancer. And even that there was a lot of stuff. We did the stuff for like Christmas and raising money for Bernardo's, all that sort of stuff. So
giving back to the community, creating events that are surrounded by community.
Yeah. And it wasn't that it was like a strategic, like, let's do this so we look better in that regard and get people who are like affected by breast cancer. It was more that was just the things that we did were to benefit those communities anyway, because we were like, that was something that we were into.
Yeah.
And just organically, the people that were also into that were drawn to us.
Yeah.
To help and that sort of thing propel us forward, which I think has carried over into this. We haven't really had to be very straight out the gate, this is what we're into, because a lot of people already know that. But from now, it's just kind of like an organic, brings people in based on friends of friends or friends of clients or other events that we're doing anyway.
Definitely. And that's where it leads us with the first kind of couple of community events that we're going to be doing. So as you can kind of, before I jump into those community events, as you can kind of hear, this is where Civitas is going and why we created Civitas. For community. Like, it's plain and simple. We want to create a brand that supports, uplifting positivity and all that kind of stuff, but also experiences for human beings, not just guys, but also girls. Forgive me, I'm just drinking a coffee at the moment. Guys and girls, like just humans in general. We didn't want to just be pigeonholed into being just guys. Because what about all those females out there that would love to be a part of our community events, but because it's male dominated, not by rights, but like just in general, they feel like they don't want to be a part of it because it is a male dominated area. Yeah,
that's the interesting thing too, is we're not really seeing gender at all. Like, it's that whole classic barbershop thing where there's certain barbershops that don't want women in, even if they're getting a men's style, just because it's traditional. What the fuck does that mean? It doesn't mean shit. Like, it doesn't make sense. We just want to welcome everyone. And we're not going out of our way to like force like it to be male or female or get more of females in. It's just, we literally don't care. Like, we'd rather just everyone enjoy it. And make the most of it, because community is everyone. It's not just one side of it.
No.
And that boxes us into just being the one thing. So
hence why we've definitely pushed that slogan. Not heaps, but we do, is for humans. Not just for males or females, as I was saying before, but for humans as well. But moving forward, especially with the community events that we're going to be doing, we have many up our sleeve that we kind of want to roll out over the next year. But up and coming on the 16th of May, we're doing something new that we didn't do at the private studio, but we're very excited to do. And it's not something that we're like, okay, sweet, we're going to make money from this.
No.
But it's a community day for about 8 people to come along. We organize a day where people kind of just get together and meet each other, and we go to a barbecue boat. We meet here in the morning, get a coffee, then we go. We've got a van that's going to take everyone to go to a barbecue boat. Then we're going to play some golf in the afternoon. Even if you're not a pro golfer or anything like that, it's just good to come along and just hang out. And then we're going to come back and have some drinks and some food. And the whole kind of premise of that thing is to be like, okay, let us organize this. Let us facilitate this for everyone, so people can be a part of a community, be a part of a meeting. There might be 3 people on that trip that know each other, and then they don't know the rest of the 4 people.
Just quickly on that, like, I think the idea originally with that was of course building community and allowing people to make the most of that. The one thing that really sparked it with me was, there's a lot of clients that come into the shop that I know would get along with other clients. And I think in that regard, by us being very open with who we are and our values and that sort of thing, we draw a lot of clients that are the same and have built that clientele up over a few years. So organically, there's people that just don't know each other.
No.
But I'm sure if they were doing something together, they'd get along well because they have that common interest and those common values. On top of that, allowing people to make the most of that and feel a part of a community without having to physically sit there, and because everyone works in different ways, right? It's that whole, like, we've seen very good feedback from the men's chats we do, but I think for most guys, they would find it very difficult to sit in a circle of guys and open up to 15 random dudes about the things they've been struggling with. And full credit to the people that do that, because it is hard.
Yes, definitely.
But every time we've had those events, it's been incredible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel forced or feel like someone's sitting there judging you. But I can see why a lot of people wouldn't want to sign up for that in the first place.
Yeah.
I know personally, and I know Nick and I have talked about this before, our kind of stress relief is doing things.
Yeah.
Because our minds are ticking 24/7, to be able to do things and connect with people, that's what flicks that off.
Yeah.
And gives us a chance to recharge. So I think this especially is great for people who want a day out to recharge and just have fun with like-minded people.
And connect. And there's no pressure at the end of the day to, talk to these people after you.
No, definitely not.
But at the same time, it's you're just crossing paths over that time.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about this morning about opportunity and presenting opportunities for people. And this is something like that where it's, this is the opportunity. If you want to be a part of it, you can be a part of it. If you don't, that's up to you. But,
Definitely.
That opportunity could open doors to places that you never thought it would ever open to,
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like life's all about. And without getting too personal or anything like that, just seizing those opportunities in your life, like these community days or whatever it is, could definitely open another doorway, as I was saying, to like even how we've gotten to the places we've gotten to now. Forgive that truck. Don't forgive it. Fuck it off. Where Jacob and I spoke about an opportunity a year and a bit ago with the private studio, and it could have either went one way or the other. I could have been like, I'm actually not keen on this, and Jacob would have been like, I'm not very keen on it. We wouldn't have been here.
No, definitely not.
But the opportunity was presented and we decided to go with it. Not saying that if we said no, that would have been the wrong decision. It's just the path that we've been taken on, we've been put on now.
Yeah.
So,
and that like, that's the other thing with these community days. This isn't the only one. This is a trial for something that could be either
a much bigger
bi-monthly or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, this is something we wanted to do, and obviously we've done these things before. The barbecue boats are heaps of fun, and golf is a lot of fun, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And with a group of people, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but obviously we're capped with the amount of people we can fit on a boat. So that's why it's limited, but eventually we really want to kind of shift into doing things for much more people, and then also maybe do intimate ones, like kind of just keep it quite varied, and just give people the day to go out, and whether they have a mate or two that they want to bring along, or if they want to come on their own, or whatever it is. I'm really, really keen on that. I think it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, same. Very much so. So within regards to Civitas itself, the brand, we've got the different aspects of the brand as well. We touched on it probably briefly from the last podcast, but we've got Civitas Terrigal. So we'll kind of break it down for people that don't understand it. So we are Civitas, in a sense, is like an umbrella company, but not technically a company for anyone that's really interested in that business type shit. It's just a branding name that under that we've got Civitas Terrigal, which is what we're in right now, and the people that come get, coffee and hairstyle and stuff like that, and the barber stuff. We've got Civitas Clothing, which is completely separate business, but is under the same brand, but has nothing to do with Civitas Terrigal here. We're not going to put Civitas Barbershop or Cafe on it. It's its own individual brand, like business. And then we've got Civitas Creative as well, which is something that I like to lean into, which then later down the track, Jacob and I will work on building that up a bit more, but that's mainly focusing on families and weddings, engagements, all that kind of stuff, anything to do with like family, community type stuff. Not really doing business content, but it's creating content for those days. And then of course, so with we are Civitas, the heading thing. This is where you'll probably see it on Instagram, Civitas Co. That's where we will post these podcasts, because we're talking about everything. rather than we're talking about the brand. We're not just talking about Terrigal here. So when we talk about the Civitas community today, it's kind of not really going through Terrigal. It's kind of just going through We Are Civitas. It has nothing to do with the shop here. We just use the shop as a vehicle. It's the same as our YouTube channel. Once we start posting more on there, it's through the brand. It's not really like, okay, we're Civitas Terrigal. And it will take a little bit to communicate that, but just for anyone that's interested in how it kind of is broken down, that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so We Are Civitas oversees everything at the head. And that was kind of the idea of having that main brand and vehicle to have everything else filter in underneath it. So we always kind of joke about it when we explain to people we could do an ice cream shop if we really wanted to and do Civitas ice cream, and it would make sense. It's on brand. Yeah. And you're a part of it because you're a part of the brand and you've invested in the brand. Whereas the private studio kind of obviously boxes into the name literally says studio. So it would be hard to shift away from that and grow with that. Yeah. Which is why that name change happened. Yeah. So yeah, there's technically no real limit of where we can go or where we are going. It's just we can use all of these different vehicles underneath that main brand to just propel the brand forward. So yes. The clothing thing, for example, it operates as its own brand. If you know who we are, I guess it's merch. Yeah. But if anyone saw it online or Instagram or saw it walking around, it's a streetwear brand. It's its own brand. It doesn't have to correlate to us. It doesn't have to say barbershop or whatever. So we're broadening that audience. If someone in America wants to buy it, sick. They don't have to know that this even exists. Yeah, exactly right. And ideally, I would like to get to that point where it runs on its own without piggybacking off of this. So that's the main goal. Same with the creative stuff. It's kind of like it's all your thing, kind of under that name and under that umbrella, and it's feeding the brand now rather than being you. Yeah, exactly right. It's all feeding the brand rather than exactly right. So that's when we can have different creatives come on, and then it's not really like, oh, it's Nick Stedham from, it's Nick Stedham. It's, no. It's we. Yeah. Civitas Creative, no matter who the creative is a part of that brand. It's the brand is delivering that service. But yeah, I think like without getting too deep into it, too far into it, we can just keep this one nice and short, nice little 20-minute episode. If you guys have any questions or any kind of like questions around who we are, what we're doing, where we're going, or anything like that, please hit us up on social media. We definitely want to chat with you. And man, let's keep these happening. Hope you're enjoying these podcasts. Anything you want to say before we go? No, I'd be interested to know how many people listen and how many people watch. Yeah, so I watch podcasts more than listen. Yeah. But do you watch on YouTube or do you listen on Spotify or? For sure. Just awesome. Yeah. Let us know.